TYR came out of nowhere and made some bold claims. So today we're gonna validate some of those. Which is the better lightweight up-tempo trainer, the TYR Maverick V1 runner or the Adidas Evo SL? What's up everybody, I'm Eric McIntyre, aka Rad Dadbot, and you're watching Rad Dadbot TV, where we review running shoes. If it's your first time watching one of my videos, you may notice some timestamps below. Feel free to jump around to the various parts of this video, but if you do so, I'd sure appreciate if you come back, watch the full thing when you get a sec, because I put a lot of time and effort into these videos. Now, quick disclaimers and disclosures, I was provided the Maverick runner for free for the purpose of review directly from TYR. That being said, they didn't give me talk tracks, talking points. They actually didn't ask me to make any specific content or anything along those lines. I'm not paid, and no one watches the video beforehand. With the Evo SL, I actually bought this with my own money. Now, as far as intended use of these shoes go, really this is the up-tempo or lightweight trainer category. So these are supposed to be, in my opinion, like the most versatile shoes on the market. They're supposed to be able to do a little bit of everything. So they're supposed to be light enough and comfortable enough to do some daily miles in, right? If you just want something a little bit lighter, a little bit more nimble on foot, but they're supposed to be responsive enough that you can go and do some actual track work and speed work in the shoes as well, right? As such, that's how we're going to be evaluating them today. From a price standpoint, both shoes come in at a very affordable $150, which I absolutely love. It's one of the reasons this category is actually my favorite category of shoe. The other is because I prefer a lighter shoe, but really at the end of the day, $150 for both of these shoes, and we'll dive into the rationale behind it all, but they're going to be some of the best bang for your buck shoes on the market. Now, from a specs perspective, the Maverick V1, it says that it comes in at 7.7 ounces, which is 220 grams, and the Evo SL was listed at 8.1 ounces, which is 230 grams. That being said, TYR actually gave me a scale, and they did claim that it was lighter than the Evo SL, and based on the website specs that are provided for a men's size 9, like that does seem to be true. But when I weigh them on my scale, they actually weigh the same, so something to consider. From a stack standpoint, the Maverick runner has 44 in the heel, 36 in the forefoot for an 8mm drop, and then the Evo SL is 37 in the heel, 30.5 in the forefoot for a 6.5mm drop. So you do get more stack, despite being around the same weight at least in the Maverick V1 runner. From a fit perspective, the shoes are pretty different. So the Evo SL, it fits a little bit short for the most part. For me, I don't think it's short enough to have size up. I kind of like it in this size. And then I will say that throughout the shoe, it is a little bit of a standard fit, has a roomier overall toe box, and then it has kind of a standard heel, standard midfoot for the most part. Meanwhile, the Maverick, it does have a wide anatomical toe box, as you can see. It actually has a snug midfoot, so you go wide toe box, snug midfoot, and then a standard heel in my opinion. And then the overall length, I will say, I think it's true to size. I wouldn't have size up or down. Now moving to the uppers, the Maverick has a breathable mesh upper, and it is very, very lightweight, very breathable. You can kind of see through it a little bit, and then you have some little plasticky overlays there in like the heel counter area, and then there on the side of the shoe. Now, another reviewer friend of mine, he messaged me asking if this kind of decal or overlay there on the medial side was causing any rubbing or discomfort. But for me, I had no discomfort with this upper. It ended up fitting really, really well. I felt like the lockdown was great. You do have a gusseted tongue. The tongue itself sits really, really well. It comes up high enough to be able to use a runner's knot. The Achilles area, the heel, it is a little bit rigid. It is structured, but it gives you good lockdown. There's no heel slippage, and it maintains some light cushion for a nice, comfortable fit. And then that toe box is really, really nice. For me, I do think a wide toe box has pros and cons. Like the pros are really, really obvious. The wide fit is going to be very breathable. It's going to give you a lot of space for your toes to display. I also feel like a wide toe box, though, sometimes makes the shoe a little bit less nimble, just as it's kind of clown shaped, right? But I actually really, really like it, though. But yeah, really, really good lockdown in the midfoot. I feel like it's a really snug, nice fitting shoe, and the upper is a nice breathable material. With the Evo SL, the upper is where most people had complaints with this shoe, and I do think that the complaints are valid. It is an engineered mesh, and the biggest issue here is going to be in the lockdown of the shoe. A lot of people have said it's sloppy. The tongue is not gusseted, it is thin, and that is frustrating because it does shift around a little bit, and it does make it so that the lockdown in the midfoot area is a little bit difficult without a runner's knot, but a runner's knot goes up too high with how short the tongue is, right? On top of that, yes, it is a little bit short, but really, like, I kind of like the cushion in the heel area. There's some light to medium padding there. I feel like it's very, very comfortable, and I feel like the material is fairly breathable overall. Now, between the two uppers, the fit of the Maverick is significantly better. I'm not going to dispute that, but I'll say it, I've said it a million times and I'll say it again, I don't mind the fit of the Evo SL that much. I don't feel like I'm shifting around a lot in the shoe. I feel like it gets the job done. That being said, like, there are enough people who have issues with it that I do have to call it out. I would just say, for me, it was not a big issue. Right, now moving to the midsoles, you have a TPEE Light Strike Pro midsole with a nylon shank that just goes about that long, but this is Adidas's racing foam, and it is, like, I've heard some people call this firm. I don't know what you guys think firm is, but I feel like this is soft, but it's dense, right? It's a dense feeling material. It's not going to be like mushy. It's not like the Neo Zen. It's not like Fresh Foam X, right? This is, you know, it feels a little bit dense when you press on it, but it's soft, it's comfortable underfoot. I find this to be one of the more pace versatile foams on the market, or midsoles on the market. I feel like it's capable of going as long as a marathon, right? I've done some really nice long run workouts in the shoe where I felt phenomenal. I feel like where it lacks is maybe in that like in that short, fast pickup range. I think it's still capable. I just think that the softer foam doesn't snap off the ground quite as much. It's a little bit more of a smooth overall ride, but I think again, it's one of the more pace versatile options on the market. From a stability standpoint, it's not super stable. It does roll in a little bit, so if you have stability issues, that paired with potential lockdown issues can be frustrating for some, but enough people are ranking this in their top like tier, if not their number one for the year, and that's where it's been for me, that, you know, for me, the foam in the shoe far outweighs any issues I have with the upper. This is, in my opinion, the best non-race shoe midsole on the market, right? Now, TYR has a really interesting approach. They have, from my understanding, right, and it's called a flight time midsole. But my understanding is it is a PIBA EVA OBC blend, right? So PIBA EVA, that's like what you get in the Rebel V5 and Rebel V4, and then the OBC EVA is actually what you have, I think, in the Nova Blast 5. So it's kind of like a blend between the Nova Blast 5 midsole as well as the Rebel V5 midsole, and that responsiveness is there. It is same thing. It's like, it's soft, but it is firmer. Like when you're running in it, for me, it feels firmer underfoot. I was surprised at the amount of ground feel I felt in the forefoot area. Now, that being said, it's really bouncy. It's very responsive. It's hard to go slow in the shoe. In fact, I think it's a lot easier to slow down in the Evo SL than it is in the Maverick. The Maverick pops off the ground really, really well, and I think where it really does shine is in that shorter, faster stuff, or even like 5K pace to 10K pace range. Like, that's a really nice range for this shoe. With the Evo SL, very, very capable of those as well, but it's going to be a little bit more accommodating for slower paces, at least if you have the stability to back it up. With the Maverick, though, it's going to be way more stable. You have a wider overall base, right? It's a nice foundation. It's a little bit firmer, so it's not going to kind of give, but it is definitely faster and it is firmer, so I don't think it's as comfortable at true easy pace. I have a really hard time running true easy in this shoe, if I'm being honest, right? So overall, you know, I do think it's a really, really nice midsole. They make claims that this midsole keeps you in the flight phase, keeps you like off the ground more than any other shoe. And like, honestly, I don't know the statistics for me, but I get the feel. Like, it does definitely pop off the ground. It helps me maintain a higher overall cadence in my mind. Now, moving to the outsoles, the Evo SL outsole is that Continental rubber, and if I'm being honest, Continental is really good, but it just didn't deliver on the Evo SL for some reason. When it's rainy or wet outside, it has slipped a little bit for me, but for the most part, otherwise, it does just fine. Like, if it's dry road, does a great job. The TYR outsole, I do feel like grips the road really, really well, and they call it the TYR Tack Ultimate Grip rubber. I really like the gum outsole here, but I will say that I've noticed that I feel like the exposed foam areas are wearing down already way more than I would expect. Now, I'm not wanting more rubber necessarily, because then you're going to add some weight on the shoe, and one of the best things about the shoe is the weight, but I do think that that exposed foam may open it up to potential wear and tear faster than I would expect. So while the rubber is going to be really durable, that foam may not be, so keep that in mind, right? But all in all, both of them get the job done. If it's wet outside though, I do think the Maverick is going to be the better outsole option. So now, as far as my pick between the two, you know, I think if we're going true lightweight trainer, I think that the Maverick is the first true up-tempo lightweight trainer to me this year, right? And that's, I mean, well, actually that's hard to say because it is still super high stack, right? And I've kind of complained a little bit. Like I love the Evo SL, I love the Rebel V5, I love the Maverick too. But I've complained that like they took away, like my #1 up-tempo trainer last year was the Brooks Hyperion 2. Like there isn't a shoe like the Hyperion 2 in my opinion on the market this year in that category, which was a little bit frustrating. The Maverick is the closest to that in my opinion. It kind of has that same, like it's a little bit firmer, but you get that pop, you get a nice snug upper, right? It feels a lot like the Hyperion 2, and so I'm struggling on where to place it in category. I think if we were going like true lightweight trainer, it's like the only one this year. If we're just comparing the category as a whole and putting it head to head with the Evo SL, I still think the Evo SL edges it out because of the versatility and the foam. Like I said, this is, in my opinion, the best midsole outside of a racing shoe on the market right now. And it, like, I don't think the upper's that bad. I really don't. And I know people are mad every time I say that. I just don't think it's that bad. So the Evo SL is still edging it out for me. That being said, if you are the type of person who had problems with the Evo SL, who are frustrated with the Evo SL, I would really encourage you to try the Maverick because it kind of fixes any of those issues that may have existed both from a stability and lockdown perspective. And so if you're looking for something light and fast, again, these measured the same weight on my scale, the Maverick is going to be an excellent, excellent option. I don't know if this is second or third in category for me. I'm still kind of debating because I do like the Rebel V5, but I think it may be edging it out a little bit because I was frustrated by how daily trainer-esque the Rebel V5 became this year. So anyway, just some final thoughts. TYR, crazy underrated, right? They basically have 3 running shoes: the Valkyrie Speedworks, the Carbon or Elite Carbon Elite, Valkyrie. I always struggle with that word. Valkyrie Elite Carbon. Yeah, that's their super shoe. They have their super trainer, and then they have their lightweight up-tempo trainer. All 3 are phenomenal shoes. I don't hear enough people talk about them. I reviewed them all. The reviews didn't get a whole lot of views, if I'm being honest, but they really have done a phenomenal job, and the people at the company are top-notch. I've spoken with them, met them before. They're really, really awesome. So TYR, you know, they just don't put a whole lot of money into running marketing, their marketing budget for running. So, you know, it is what it is, but they make a phenomenal product. I think more people should give them a try, and I'm hoping that this shoe is one, especially with the $150 price point, that get people curious. I will say their color options aren't always the best, but for the Maverick, they have some really cool color options online, so go check those out. But if you watched this far, you know, I sure appreciate you. Let me know in the comments what questions you have about these shoes, what other comparisons you'd like to see, and what I could be doing better as a reviewer to make these videos more entertaining for each and every one of you. Quick plug, if you'd like to support the channel, consider using any of the affiliate links below. I have an affiliate link to Fuel Goods where you can get gels, electrolytes, any like running snacks, anything along those lines. It does give me a kickback, allows me to continue to purchase some shoes to be able to review here. And then also Walico are my favorite half tights. The distance half tights are my favorite. I wore them last year at Grandma's Marathon. I'll likely wear them next year at Tokyo Marathon 2026. So if you want to give those a try, use RADDAD20 at checkout. It'll give you $20 off, or sorry, 20% off, so even better, and it does send me a 15% commission. So lastly, if you watched this far and you haven't hit the subscribe button, please consider doing so today. Turn on those notifications to get notified every time I drop a new video. And with that, we're going to finish out with a question, which is, did you like the Evo SL? And if so, where does it rank in your total rankings for 2025? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks, everybody.